And happy Sunday. So this week we're going to do just a little bit different format, and for those of you who didn't even know we were changing format, you probably won't even notice. So my husband thought I was silly for even telling you all that we were going to do something different because he says nobody's going to notice. But anyway, so today is Sunday, September the 3rd, and sorry I'm a little bit winded. Hey Casey, sorry I'm a little bit winded. I realized, hey, this is all about moving it to lose it, and I forgot my tea, so I jogged down the stairs of the loft real quick and then jogged right back up. So yeah, so I'm a little bit winded. Hey Carolyn, how are you? Hey Paula, hey everybody. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit different disclaimer this time. What I'm going to say is that today is Sunday. Oh, Casey said, look how cute you are. Grandbaby and I are here. So, okay, and hey Lynn. So I'm already sidetracked. Casey had her, I guess it's technically her 20-week visit, but it's her 21st week visit, whatever. And she knows the sex of the baby, but I don't, because I've asked to be surprised. So nobody asked Casey whether it's a boy or a girl. All we know is that it's a healthy baby, 10 fingers and 10 toes. Hey Christine, hey Beth, hey Margaret, hey Donna, hey Claudie, hey Teresa. So my disclaimer for this week is that today is Sunday, and it is September the 3rd, and it is the day before Labor Day, and I hope everybody's getting ready for a great Labor Day tomorrow. Hey Kim. And so if you were watching this tonight, hey Karen. Hey Karen, how is Texas? Let us know how that's going down there, okay? Hey Dorothy, hey Shirley. Yay. Yeah, Lynn says yay. But anyway, so if you were watching this with us on Sunday, the day before Labor Day, then this is a live Facebook chat. And if you are not watching this with us on Sunday, then it is not live. Hey Tedders, how are you feeling? I'm so glad you're here. So my disclaimer is that I have had a ton of people this week. We have like 400 and something new egglets now in the If You Have an Egg Weight Watchers group, in the closed group, which is just amazing. And it has distracted me from doing everything else because that takes a lot of time to sort through 400 and something people. And actually there's still 100 and something people waiting to find out. And Dusty's already asking up. No, not yet, Betty. Nope, not time yet. But anyway, so there are still 100 and something people waiting to find out if they're going to be in the group. But if you don't answer the questions, or if I can't tell that you're a real person, you know, that I don't let you immediately in. But anyway, so for all the people who think that, I don't know, they think I'm a Weight Watchers leader. Okay, this is my disclaimer. I am not a Weight Watchers leader. I am not a professionally trained Weight Watchers leader. I am not paid by Weight Watchers, nor do I work for Weight Watchers or Weight Watchers International. I just love it. I just love the program. So that is my disclaimer for tonight. And if you are not watching this live, or even if you are, you can always check these out later. You can see them on Facebook. So right now, doing this live, we are on the Facebook page, the If You Have an Egg Facebook page. Hey Rose. And then hey Wendy. And so if you are watching with us live, I mean, you know, obviously you're watching here. So you can see this on Facebook. You can always check them out on YouTube, and that's just youtube.com/IfYouHaveAnEgg, or you can search If You Have an Egg. If you watch them later on YouTube, remember, please be sure to like, share, comment, and especially subscribe. We're up over 615 subscribers, I think now, which is very exciting to me. I still can't believe there's that many people watching them. But anyway, and this is chat number 37, I think. Let me check my notes here real quick. Yeah, this is chat number 37, if y'all can believe that. But you can always watch them later also on my blog. That's www.ifyouhaveanegg.com. And if you just search chat, or if you look over in the categories, then they'll always come up there. So this week we are going to, and yes, I know it's backwards. So if you're watching this later and you don't know me, you don't need to tell me that this is backwards. Yes, I know it's backwards. I've had people actually pointing that out to me on YouTube, and I'm like, hello, they're always backwards, because I refuse to turn my phone around. And thank you, Casey, for putting the blog website up. But yeah, I refuse to turn it around because then I can't tell which direction I'm supposed to move. So yeah, they're backwards. So this week, Weight Watchers, who attends meetings? So I need thumbs ups for people who actually attend, who attend physical meetings, And if you're Weight Watchers Online only, I want to see hearts. So I want to see which one you are. Since I attend, hey Betty, and hey Teresa, since I attend physical meetings, we get the Weight Watchers weekly. And even if you've missed a week, or if you did miss a week, be sure and ask your leader for another copy. Ours usually has the previous week sitting out, but I highly recommend picking one up. If you're online only, do we have any? Looks like we have yeah, we've got several online only girls. I see some hearts going by. Online only girls, tell me how you find this material when you're online only. Like I attend meetings, but physical meetings, but I also do, Hey Sherry, but I also do. I have e-tools. Well, since I go to a meeting, I pick these up. But if you're online only, I know that there's a way to access these. But if somebody that is only online, pretty please, if you'll type in here how to access these, I'd like to be able to talk about that too. But this week's meeting was called, Weight Watchers called it. Yeah, and Kathy says she doesn't think she would be successful without her meeting. So, Kathy, that's exactly why I attend. I attend every single week. So I'm lucky enough to be in a part of the world that has multiple choices for meetings every week. I think even on Tuesdays there's like 3 meetings just at the location where I go. So we have a lot of choices, and I have an amazing leader. So not everybody has a Gwen. So I know a lot of people have been getting their meeting here. Okay, wait, I'm sorry. Cheryl says on the website it's in the bottom right hand corner. So yeah, so check that out. And Lynn says that their meeting was canceled last week due to Harvey. So I'm just going to point out that Sally's late. So Sally, when you're late, you'll be leaving both of your shoes and just coming back for them later. And if y'all want to know what that means, you're just going to have to ask Sally why the whole shoe thing. Yeah, you see, Sally runs into the room and slides into Sherry. Yeah, both shoes, Sally. Leave them. You're in trouble. You're in trouble, Missy. But anyway, so I'm fortunate enough to be able to go to, I have an option for like 3 different meetings in the location where I go, in the same day. So we have lots of options. So I always try to attend. I try to attend every single week, yeah, so I'm fortunate in that. So this week we talked about move to lose more. And and Casey already saw an angry face. Yeah, no angry faces. No angry faces or Sally's gonna get ya. And even though she was late and even though she has to leave her shoes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so move to lose more. Who attended their meeting this week? And who talked about that? Who remembers what the definition of moving is? So I know a lot of people probably saw this weekly and went, oh, great. I'm going to have to start running, or I'm going to have to start, I'm going to have to do a 5K, or, I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to do something that's just going to be really, really hard and really, really sweaty, and is outside of my comfort zone. So, you don't. The definition of physical activity, according to the Weight Watchers book, it's technically any body movement that increases your energy expenditure. So I actually looked it up, the definition, the actual definition of physical activity, and that was close. It's physical activity is any body movement that works your muscles and requires more energy than resting. So literally standing up and sitting down, that exerts energy. When I ran downstairs to go grab my tea, that exerted energy. So it's any body movement, any body movement. It doesn't matter. Like right now, can y'all see what I'm doing? Yeah, I'm moving in my chair. So I'm fidgeting. Fidgeting counts as physical activity. The examples that they gave were walking, running, dancing, swimming, yoga, and gardening. Those are just a few examples of physical activity. So I know when everybody saw, not everybody, but when some people saw this weekly coming up, they thought, oh, we're going to talk about some, high intensity things, because everybody thinks about, like step aerobics, or, that you have to be able to jog or run. I am not a runner. I am not a jogger. I'm a walker. They're thinking, hot yoga. I've got a friend that does hot yoga, and I'm sure she's really, really good at it, and I'm sure she really enjoys it. But that just doesn't sound like, something for me. So any physical activity is any body movement that works muscles and requires more energy than resting. So anything, just getting up and down. So do you remember, hey Sonia, so do y'all remember a couple of weeks ago in our myth busting chat, we talked about not being able to out exercise our food choices. But if you add some amount, of measured activity, it can help. Especially if you're measuring your activity, if you're using, we'll talk about fitness monitors in a few minutes, things like that. But, Tedder says, good, that means rocking my feet in the bed counts for something. Yeah, Tedders, it really does. Rocking your feet, anything. I mean, we've got some people that are, limited motion, people obviously like Tedders that have had some surgery, and, things like, just things that are limiting them right now. We've got some people that have had surgeries and they're not allowed to pick up anything over 5 pounds, which I think is a jug of milk. I'm pretty sure a jug of milk is about 5 pounds. Hey, and Anna, don't worry about Anna. I know everybody's asking Anna why she's mad. Anna, it's okay, don't worry about it. They have a funny thing about the angry face, so yeah, you're okay. Don't worry about it. don't let them chase you off because they're fussing about the angry face. Yeah. I do prefer though thumbs ups and hearts, even though we're not voting on anything right now. I do prefer those. But anyway, yes, so any motion. And so I'm a firm believer that if you do track what you're doing, if you use your e-tools and you're tracking your fit points, or if you're just keeping track of it, or if you're keeping track of it anyway, that I think that's going to help with your food choices, even though you can't out exercise, and thank you all for the thumbs ups and the hearts, but you can't out exercise your food choices. But I do think that it makes a difference, because I know, like, if I've worked especially hard one day and I've gotten average for me is between 8,000 and 10,000 steps, because I'm a walker. That's the majority of what I do is walking. So if I've worked really hard one day and say I've gotten 15, 16, 17, 18,000 steps, I'm going to think a little bit differently about things that I'm going to put in my mouth, because I've worked really hard that day. I don't use my fit points. I do not use my fit points for food. I use them for fit points. So how many of you all are exercising to gain more fit points and you're using them for food? So if you're using your fit points for food, do a thumbs up. I use my fit points. I earn fit points just to be more fit. So I'm getting older, a little bit older. I'm getting ready to be a grandmother. I'm 50 now. So I use my fit points to feel better, to be healthier, to look better in my clothes, which y'all, I'm just having a loose dress today, but to look better in my clothes. Right now I'm concentrating on these because 50-year-old grandmas are getting, I'm starting to get the wings, the little chicken wings going on over here. So I've been working on that. But how many of you are using so if you're using your fit points, for food, oh, and hey Mark, what are you doing there? But anyway, so if you're using your fit points for food, do a thumbs up. If you're using your fit points to be fit, do a heart. So I've seen people that are saying, they've used them to cover overeating once in a while. I don't think it's a bad thing to do that. And Debbie's my new favorite because she says I don't look 50. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, so, and Linda says her sister-in-law goes by Grandma. That's hilarious. That is so funny. Okay, so we've got some thumbs ups, and we've got, okay, and now my brother-in-law is here. What are y'all doing? Who's sharing these things? Hey, John. Oh, and my husband's home. He's home for like 4 days. Your brother's on here. Oh, he said, huh. Okay. So, yeah, so he's thrilled. So, hey, Uncle Robert. But anyway, so that just totally distracted me, and y'all know how easily I get distracted. Okay, so I do think though that if you're tracking how many fit points you're using, even if you're not going to use them even if you're not going to use them for food, I think it's going to make a difference on on some decisions. And yeah, I know Sally said squirrel. Yes, a squirrel. speaking of squirrels, we saw a really cute one this morning. Anyway, okay, so physical activity, it doesn't have to be hard. What are some easy forms of physical activity? What are some little things that you all do to get in some extra activity? So we're not talking about, right now we're not talking about jogging, we're not talking about running, we're not talking about marathon swimming, we're not talking about the hot yoga, we're not talking about, you know, extreme things like that. What are some little things that you all do to get in some extra activity? So, because remember, physical activity is any body movement that works your muscles and requires more energy than resting. So Paula says she uses hand weights while she's watching TV. That's an awesome one, Paula. Sally says she chases tedders to get her shoes back. That is physical activity. Carolyn's taking the stairs. Rose is cleaning. Yep, cleaning's a great one. Sally says actually taking the dogs for a walk. Kim takes the stairs at work. Those are all good ones. Those are all good ones. So I had down, you know, it doesn't have to be, you know, it doesn't have to be hard. And we've got Teresa says deep house cleaning. Let's see. Cheryl has a sit-down job, so she twists in her chair. See, like I'm doing, all day, off and on. Sonia, who's actually in my meeting, she walks, hikes, gardens, and paddle boards, which paddleboarding, I want to try sometime, Sonia. That terrifies me, but it makes me, you know, I don't know, it makes me interested at the same time. Dawn bounces her legs. Shirley Ann is parking farther away, so that was one of the ones I had. If you park a little farther away from the door. If you take the stairs instead of taking the elevator. So I do that when I go, I've got one appointment downtown that I do, and it's 3 flights of stairs. I don't jog them. I'm not going fast. I take my time, but I go up the stairs, and then when I'm done with my appointment, I go down the stairs instead of taking the elevators. Shirley's vacuuming. Does vacuuming is physical activity. Betty's parking farther at work and walking. That's an awesome one, Betty. So one that I figured out is that in our showroom, if you walk around the center display, it's approximately 200 steps. So our customers think that they are walking around the display and making their edge selections. Instead, sure, I'm letting them pick out which edge they want on their granite, but I'll take them around the first time and show them all of them, and then I'll take them around again. And then if they hesitate at all, then I take them around again. Because guess what? I just turned it into 200. You didn't make up your mind fast enough. 400. You're still thinking 600 steps. And they, you know, get me anywhere from 200 to 600 steps just by walking around that center console. Wendy goes kayaking, and she takes a baby friend out in her stroller for walks. I guess that's a friend's baby. Lynn, she's getting up and walking during commercials. That's an awesome one. Teresa's push mowing instead of using the rodder. Those are all awesome. And Casey says that I'll definitely have wandering around with the grandbaby in a stroller soon as an activity. Yep, and I'm on it. I am on that one. Okay, so how can you get in a little bit extra activity at work? So I know I have a fairly sedentary job. We're either moving or we're not moving. We might sit for hours, or we're walking the warehouse. So it's an all or nothing thing. So sometimes while I'm sitting still, again, like whoever it was that said twisting in their chair, twist in your chair, fidget. You can bounce your feet up and down. There is a lady in our group here in Knoxville that she volunteers to take the mail. Every time, like if they get the wrong piece of mail, I still haven't figured out where she works, but if they get the wrong piece of mail, she volunteers, and I know they're thinking, oh, she's so sweet to be doing that, but really what she's doing is she's getting her steps in. So she picks up the piece, she'll grab the mail that was delivered to the wrong office, and then she'll run it or walk it, to the next office. And Sally's a waitress, so she's always walking, and she says she needs a Fitbit. Yes, you do need a Fitbit, Sally. You definitely need a Fitbit. So those are a few things that you could do at work. So I'll also hear people say that they don't have a lot of time for it, or why is it important? So in case you didn't get one of the weeklies this week, it actually says in here that So aside from, it's a mood enhancer, it makes you feel better. I know I feel better about myself, when I've gotten my exercise in. But did you all realize this? So in this study, okay, this was a 15-week study, and they had 493 participants. The average age of the participants was 40, and their average weight was 204 pounds. So that's a pretty good, that's a pretty good spread of people. And if my glasses were strong enough, I could tell you where this study was done. But what they had these people do, remember, for 15 weeks, so average weight's 204, average age is 40. For 15 weeks, they had part of the people do an eating alone. All they did was, okay, and Cheryl says she has a VivoFit. You're gonna have to tell us what that is. I've never heard of that. So part of the people, all they did was change the way that they were eating. The people that changed the way that they were eating in that 15 weeks lost 21 pounds. Then they had another group of people that were doing activity alone. So they didn't change anything about the way that they were eating. They just increased their activity. And activity alone, those people lost 6.6 pounds in the 15 weeks. But they had a group that changed their eating and they increased their activity. That group lost an average of 24.2 pounds. So they lost 3.2 pounds more than the eating alone group, and that was over 15 weeks. So you think about it, 15 weeks. So there's how many weeks in a year? There's 52 weeks in a year, so that's going to be, and I didn't do the math before I came up here. John, are you there? What's 52? What's 52 divided by 15? It's 4 point something. It's only 3.46, 45, 50. So 3.46, what's 3.46 times 3.2? So we're doing some quick math here to see. So in a year, the people who increased their activity along with the change in their eating lost how much? 11? They lost an extra 11 pounds. An extra 11 pounds. So, and these are not, this exercise is not, they're not talking, again, not talking running a marathon. I mean, if you can run a marathon, awesome, more power to you. If you can do a couch to 5K, seriously, more power to you. This is just, oh, and Casey says, fun fact, my dad is a walking calculator, if y'all didn't figure that out just now. Yeah, he really kind of is. We call him Rain Man sometimes because he can, spout stuff off like that. Yeah, math is not my strong suit. So yeah, so you notice we don't ask me the math questions. But seriously though, all they did, they just changed their dieting habits, their eating habits, and then increased their activity. And this wasn't a huge increase in activity, but just the two of those combined, from the eating alone, 11 pounds a year. And I don't know about you all, but when I first started this in 1993, my first round with Weight Watchers was in 1993. And I know I've told y'all this a million times, but if I had accepted all of my 0.2 pound a week weight losses, so all the weeks that I only lost 0.2 pounds, I would have been done in I would have been at goal in 1998. So even when I got serious about this, increasing the activity, that extra 11 pounds a year, that definitely shortened my time. So let's go back to me just for a second. This isn't all about me. This is about us. But just to let you know, my accountability buddy Karen and I started walking almost 23 years ago. When we started walking, and you don't have to just walk. There's lots of other things that you can do. I'm just saying for me. So when we first started walking, that first day we walked, I think we walked the big loop of the neighborhood that we both used to live in. And the big loop is maybe a mile, and we thought we were gonna die and we hated it. But we were together. And then, we walked that loop and walked that loop and walked that loop. And then a few weeks later, we walked the big loop, and then we walked the small loop. And then, then we got to where we were walking two big loops. And then we got to where we were walking, the big loop and the small loop and then the big loop again. And eventually we were walking over to the soccer fields and back. And the first summer that we did that, we were not doing Weight Watchers. We were not doing any form of eating plan. We were only exercising. And we lost 2 pant sizes. So do you remember last week when we were talking about non-scale victories? Losing 2 pant sizes would definitely be a non-scale victory. I mean, I'm talking one summer, so it was like, let's see, probably 4 months. I mean, I'm not just saying June, July, and August, but so that summer that we walked, we lost 2 pant sizes just walking. So, this is proof. If we had been doing that summer, if we had been doing a healthy eating plan like Weight Watchers and walking, there's no telling, what we would have done. I personally do, okay, and Betty's asking which is better, a pedometer or a Fitbit. And Betty, we're going to talk about that here in just a second, if you don't mind holding on for just a second. What was I going to say? Oh, so I will say this. We're back on just me. And this is not just about me. I'm just telling you how this works for me. So I don't exercise with the end thought that I'm going to lose weight from that. So, excuse me, I have to get a drink. The tea that I ran downstairs to get earlier. So I don't exercise with the thought in mind of, okay, if I meet all of my step goals for this week, and if I get all of my exercise in, that I'm going to lose weight. But what it does for me is it keeps me from gaining weight. So if I don't focus on exercising, on moving, and I don't go to the gym, I don't work out, I'm not a big, weightlifter, whatever. But if I don't exercise, then I'm much more likely to have a gain the next week. So I just want y'all to remember, last week when we were talking about non-scale victories, about NSVs, and I want to hear what everybody's NSV was, by the way, even though I didn't get the notes put up soon enough, but I do want to still hear what your all's NSVs are. But so one of my NSVs is as long as I, keep up my activity, I keep up my activity for the week, even on the weeks that I don't have a loss. It does help me to keep from gaining. It does help me to fit better in my clothes. Don't forget, this is a measurement for me. If I've done my activity, and stayed on track, then my Fitbit's looser. So I don't want y'all to get obsessed with this fitness thing and think, oh, okay, if I do all this stuff, then the weight's just going to fall off, or that if you do all this and the weight doesn't fall off, that you're doing something wrong. You're still improving the shape of your body. You're making those muscles, remember the muscles take up less room even though they weigh the same. Remember our myths chat when somebody said, I kept hearing people saying that, that a pound of muscle weighs more than a pound of fat. A pound is a pound is a pound. But remember, when you're doing all these little things that we're talking about and you're building muscles, the muscles, muscles take up less room. A pound of muscle, even though it still weighs a pound, so the scale still thinks that you that you held on to that pound. Oh, and Sally says her NSV is that she went down a pant size. Yeah. Oh yeah, she only has 2 pairs of pants that fit her. Awesome. It's actually good news when you run out of clothes. But remember, a pound of muscle is little, and a pound of fat is like, I think it was like a third bigger or something like that. So it takes up more room. So just keep that in mind as you're doing these things. The scale might not show that you've lost weight, but you're losing mass, and really that's more important than the weight. I know we all want to see these big numbers on the scale, but the losing size, that's actually more important than the losing of the weight. So what are some things that you can do to fit in smaller amounts? Because I know, so when Karen and I first started walking too, we were like, we both had kids, that were in like, well, in the very beginning, they would have been small, little children. And we kept thinking, oh my gosh, we don't have time, or we kept thinking that we had to pack up all this stuff and go to the gym. We don't have anything to leave the kids with, and we're going to have to, pack up all of our clothes and go and drive and, and whatever. And we didn't. So we started out, walking like, we started out walking early in the morning. So don't let time be an excuse. Everybody has 10 minutes 3 times during, during their day. I have a really busy job. I own my own company. John's not home a whole lot, so there's a whole lot of stuff, here that I've got to take care of when he's gone. I do these. I'm really, really busy, super busy. But everybody has a little bit of time. So you've got a little bit of time throughout the day, or you can get up a little bit earlier. I'm not a fan of getting up early at all. I can't stand it. I don't like to get up early, but I will say this, when I get up early, I'll walk for sure. If I go ahead and get up and walk, I'll get it done. If I don't get up early, sometimes it does or doesn't happen. But some ways to fit little bits into your day. How many people have something like, we're going to talk about activity monitors in a minute, but how many people have something like a Fitbit? You have a Fitbit or a Garmin or some other kind of activity tracker like that. I know, like, my Fitbit will remind me, I've got it set up for a certain time during the day. Okay, and Sally and Tedders are getting ready to get in trouble, and Lynn, don't encourage them. I don't know what y'all are talking about. Oh no, and now Casey says I'm buffering. Hopefully that's just Casey's cable, but anyway, I don't know what y'all are talking about. Yeah, but you just need to take it down a notch. Anyway, because you're supposed to, unless that's exercising, unless you're getting in some physical activity while you're doing that. But anyway, so getting up early in the morning, that's a great way to get it in. And the Fitbit. So mine reminds me, and Linda has an Apple Watch. So Linda, does your Apple Watch remind you to get up and move? I've got mine set from 8 to 5 because that's when I'm at work. And so every hour from 8 to 5, it reminds me to get up and walk 250 steps. Remember, I already told you that one lap around the showroom is about 200 steps. So if I go, a lap around the showroom, or if I go out to the end of the slabs and back, or something else, it reminds me to do that every hour. And 250 steps every hour for 8 hours is how much, John? Uh-oh.
I'm sorry.
Whoops. Oh, he's not paying attention to me.
No, what did you say?
250 steps every hour for 8 hours.
2,000 steps.
How many?
2,000.
2,000. Okay, so that's 2,000 steps. Yeah, so just setting your activity monitor to go off every hour to remind you to get up and move 250 steps. Do you know how long it takes to walk 250 steps? Not long. It's like 3 minutes. Everybody's got 3 minutes, once an hour. And Linda says hers tells her to stand 12 minutes during the day, 12 times during the day. Okay, that one's good too. So I hear people say all the time, I don't have time to do, and I just picked squats as an example. So, and Kim has her alarm. She sets her alarm early and gets in her 30 minutes, gets her 30 minutes in before work. Yeah, if you get up and do it, and again, I'm not a morning person. I can't stand getting up that early, but I do it every day, and I've been doing it for years and years and years and years. And if I go ahead and get up and go, and have your clothes ready, so have your clothes there and ready, make it look like a fireman drill. Like if anybody's ever been to a fire hall, you see them where they've got their boots and their pants are already in their boots, or like over the top of their boots, and they just literally walk into them and then they pull everything up so they're ready to go when there's a fire. Well, if you'll get your clothes ready and have everything set out so that you can just go ahead and get in them, get your shoes on and go, you're much more likely to go. If you've got to hunt for your clothes, if you can't find your shoes, if you're distracted, if you sit down and check Facebook, don't do it. Just go. If walking's your thing, just go. I know like some of you all do, Leslie, who is it on here that does Leslie Sansone, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Leslie Sansoni, however you pronounce it. How many of you all are doing that? Because you could get up and do that first thing. Just go ahead and get it done. And Betty goes to work earlier and walks right inside the building. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect, Betty. So here's one that I was thinking about, and I just picked squats just as a thing. Okay, and Casey did something. I don't know what people are saying. Yes, Casey, and I missed it. I'll see it later. I know. And Tedder says she can't do anything in the morning. She's a night owl. Tedders, I am too. I would be much better working graveyard shift, but I make myself get up, because if I wait, it's not going to happen. Unless it's scheduled, and I'll talk about that again, here in a second. But so squats. Okay, so who here can do 30 to 50 squats at one time? So I want to see the hands of these girls that have got the thigh muscles going on that you can do. So if you can do 30 to 50 squats at one time, do a thumbs up. Like 30 to 50 non-stop. If you can just go ahead and get those squats done, give me a thumbs up. Okay, for you girls who can't, who need to break that up, if you did 5 squats every time there was a commercial on, so if you watched TV for 1 hour and you did 5 squats every time a commercial came on, you would get in 50 squats in an hour. In an hour of TV, you would get in 50 squats. That's not hard. That's not hard, and that's not that painful, you know, and that would help you build up to, you know, to being able to do more squats at one time. Accountability Buddy Karen and I did a class that, hey, and Linda, yeah, exactly. Linda's daughter says she should do them while she watches this. Seriously, that's one of the things I have on our list of ways to get in your activity. Seriously, ways to get in your activity. So, you know, during a commercial, I'm not saying don't watch TV. I mean, my gosh, you know, we all have to watch TV. But, so get up, walk in place, do some squats, just do a few things. You know, you don't have to work out and, you know, and kill yourself. You could just do, yeah, see, Paula says 5 squats. That's doable. Yeah, 5 squats. We could all probably do 5 squats. We could do 1 push-up. I know Karen right now is working on push-ups, and so every morning she's tried to do, you know, 5 push-ups. That doesn't sound like a lot. And Cheryl says she gets 50 squats in the restroom if she drinks all of her water. That is true. That is also true. So, oh my gosh, Sally's in bed while she's watching this. Oh my gosh. Okay, and Paula says, hey Kelly, do 5 now. Yeah, y'all don't want me to stand up in this dress and do 5 squats. But anyway, so yeah, but seriously, that would be, you would do 50 if you did that just during the commercial breaks of one show. Is that not crazy? So some other things that I do while I'm already doing something else, and there's nothing I can do about it if I'm waiting in line for something. So I'm at Target or I'm at the grocery store or whatever, you know, and the line's long, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm already there, I'm already in line. There's nothing I can do. So I can either just stand there perfectly still and be irritated and huff and puff and wish that people would go on, you know, that they would move on, or I can do, I call them heel lifts. I don't know what everybody else calls them, but like if you're on your, so like pretend like these are my feet. So if you're on your feet and you go up on your toes and stand and, you know, and use your calf muscles and then go back down and then do that, you know, and so far nobody's gone, what are you doing? You know, nobody seems to pay any attention, but you'd be surprised how many of those you can get done, you know, just while you're standing there, you know, waiting in line. And remember, that counts as activity because it's any body movement that works your muscles and requires more energy than resting. So standing in line. If you have to sit in a meeting, if you've got to sit in a long meeting, or I do this in church or in Sunday school, and again, so far nobody's called me out on it. I don't know that anybody's even noticed it, you know, or if you're in a theater, you know, if you're in a seated position, or watching TV. But I mean, I even do this in public places, and you're waiting on something, I'll do leg lifts just while you know, just while I'm sitting and waiting. If it's in a meeting, it helps to keep you awake because you're doing something else. And when it's in, you know, church or in Sunday school, you know, or if I'm sitting in a theater, really once you've done it a few times, you don't even notice, you know, anymore. I mean, like, you don't even notice anymore that you're doing it. And believe it or not, I mean, if the meeting is long enough, or, you know, by the time you've sat in church for an hour doing that, you can feel it in your legs. It's quite the little workout. And I promise you're not going to pop a sweat, or you shouldn't pop a sweat anyway. So, and this one, sometimes while I'm driving, if I'm waiting in a long line of traffic, or if there's, you know, a lot of red lights or whatever, if you squish your tushy cheeks, like to the beat of the music, you know, like squeeze, squeeze, and I'm doing it right now, you know, sitting here just thinking about it, but like to the beat of the music on the radio, you know, if you do that, or, you know, if you're holding on to the handle on the car, you know, kind of you know, kind of flex your, you know, kind of flex these muscles, you know, but like holding onto the steering wheel or whatever, but do it to, you know, but do it to the beat of the music. And it makes the time go by faster. It makes you forget that you're sitting waiting in line. It makes you forget that the, you know, red light's not changing in front of you. So, you know, it kills some time too. I'm gonna get another drink real quick, sorry. Okay, so next thing, get an accountability. Oh wait, Betty says she dances around the house with her animals, a bird and a dog. That's an awesome idea. And Casey said she heard Dusty. She's like a dusty monitor. Okay, so get an accountability buddy. So us sitting here talking, we're accountability buddies right now. Oh yeah, Lynn says Kegel exercises. Yeah, that's another good one. But get an accountability buddy. So I have a physical accountability buddy here, you know, in Knoxville, and that's my friend Karen that I walk with so much. But whether you have one that you can get, you know, that's near you, if you can get a physical accountability buddy like I have with Karen, I highly recommend one of those. If you can't get one near you, or if there's not, all of you all there talking to each other right now, guess what? You're all accountability buddies. So everybody that just checked in on Casey to see how she was doing, that's an accountability partner, you know. So we call them, Lynn calls them accountability buddies. Sally's exactly right. Our group is accountability buddies. So we all, you know, check on each other. And I'm just going to comment, Julie says it's 98 degrees and raining. So Julie, that probably feels like a cool down for you, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm sure, because I think where Julie is, it's been getting up to like 110, 112, I think 120 one day. But yeah, so, but we're all accountability buddies. So, yeah, and Julie, how many, okay, I'm just going to call you out on the carpet here. How many steps have you been getting in every day? So Julie has had to get up super, super, super early because it's like 1,000,000 degrees. Apparently she lives on the sun and it's 1,000,000 degrees there. So she's been having to get up really early in the morning, A, because it's before work, and B, because it's like, I don't think I'm exaggerating, am I, Julie? It's like 100 degrees at like 9 a.m. So she's got to get this done early. So she's the prime example of somebody that if she was not getting up and getting this done, it's not going to happen. Not because she's lazy, not because she doesn't want to do it, but because literally if she doesn't get up and get this done early, she could pass out. I mean, it's too hot. It's too hot that, you know, that late in the day. So I think that's great to take advantage of it that early. So, okay, so Julie says today she got 8,500, normally 10,000 to 11,000, and it's only 5:45 there. And yeah, Sally says she watches Julie's posts every day and Julie never disappoints. So guess what? Julie, because she posts her steps every day and she lets everybody know, and no pressure, Julie, just know you've started something you can't stop. Kind of like these chats. This was going to be a fun one-time thing. Literally, seriously, I was going to do one chat just to see how it went, and we have done, this is number 37. So Julie, you have officially started something that you can't stop, but that's great because now Julie is an accountability buddy to 4,000, I think, 4,000 members in the If You Have an Egg group. So she is now an accountability partner with all of these people because I'm not going to pretend like all 4,000 are watching her steps, but there's at least, what, 20 to 30 of us that every single day watch to see how many steps she gets in. So she is being an accountability partner to us because she's encouraging us to get our steps in, but in return, all of us who are cheering her on, we are also her accountability partners, accountability buddies, all of us, because we're cheering her on. So get one, accountability buddy. I highly recommend them. Get one. You all know Karen is mine. So we walk 3 days a week. We walk Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. And even though we don't live near each other anymore, we still walk Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. And, you know, unless there's something drastic going on like this week or this weekend, she's actually up visiting her son who's in the Navy. They get him for a couple of days, him and their middle daughter, and so they're gone with them. That's the only reason that we are not walking this weekend. So as my accountability buddy, we make sure that we're going to walk. And there are days that I don't want to walk. And she says, and she texts me and goes, yeah, we're walking. You know, and there's days that she doesn't want to walk, and I text her back and say, yeah, we're walking. And Julie says that her and Deanna swap journals daily. That's awesome. That is so awesome. So we walk 3 days a week. We walk in the rain. We walk when the sun's shining. We walk when it's way too hot outside. We walk sometimes when it's way too cold outside. Sometimes, and sorry, Dusty already wants up, so we get Dusty for the whole rest of the chat, which is only like 14 minutes, but anyway, so we walk rain, sleet, or snow. We're like the mailmen, of Knoxville or whatever. But we've left when it's been absolutely dry and hot outside. Not Julie hot, but because Julie lives on the sun, but hot outside, and we've come back soaking wet and freezing. We've walked in the snow. We've reluctantly walked in storms. Karen doesn't mind walking in a storm. I can't stand it, but I'll do it unless there's lightning near, and then I'm out. But it has to be pretty extreme. We have even, and we don't mind walking in the snow. We'll do that too. We have, even though we walked in hail one time. We even one time it had rained so much. We were already completely soaking wet, and we like to walk down around the UT campus sometimes, and where we walk was flooded. And so we were like, well, great, it's flooded, but that's where we walk. So we stood there and looked at it for a few minutes, and then I don't know if this was a good idea or not, but we finally decided to take off our shoes and socks, and we walked through the flooded area. Yeah, probably not our brightest decision, but that's what an accountability buddy is for. So we got in our 7 miles that Sunday. We keep track of each other. We keep track of each other on, we use Map My Walk. And when John's home here with me, he uses Map My Walk too. And so we can encourage each other, with that, and we can keep track of, of how much we've been walking. So yeah, you don't have to go crazy, but Karen and I have been doing this for over 20 years. You just need to find a good buddy and check in. So even if your buddy's not physically there with you, so even if your buddy's not like, when I walk with Karen, I'm physically with her when I'm walking. But even if your buddy's not physically with you, you can call and check in with each other. You can call and make sure the other person's walking. You can get, earbuds, and you can talk to each other, while you're walking. You can, there's other ways to check in. You don't have to be, Sally said you made some fun memories too, Kelly. Yeah, we did. I know that was, okay. Let's just say the people here in Knoxville, once we told them where we took off our shoes and socks and walked through the water, everybody was like, ugh. Yeah, you need to get some kind of shots for something, but we did it. We had a good time, and we've come back soaking wet. And we always love it when we're walking and everybody else has chickened out and gone back inside, and we're out there like, yeah, we're the only people out here today. So yeah, I don't know whether it's smart or not, but okay. The next thing is fitness monitors. So if you got an accountability buddy, the best way I have found to have multiple accountability buddies and have them all seemingly right there with you is to use a fitness monitor. So I use a Fitbit, and I've got a Fitbit Alta, and everybody that I'm friends with on Fitbit, they can all see, how many steps I've taken. I can see how many steps they've taken. I will admit I'm a teeny tiny bit competitive, just a little bit. I'm not bad competitive, am I, Casey? But I'm a tiny bit competitive, and there are days that I'll sit and check it and I'll go, so-and-so's ahead of me, okay, and I'll go out to the slabs and back a few times, or I'll lap the loft a couple of more times, or I'll make the dog walk a little bit farther, or whatever, because, there's certain people that are in my Fitbit friends list that I don't want to be ahead of me. in the, I don't want them to be ahead of me on the, on the Fitbit ranking. So, a little healthy competition, never hurt anything. And oh yeah, Lynn said, yeah, you didn't want to do that down there in Texas this week. No, I don't want to hear about anybody taking shoes and socks off and wading in water that you don't need to be wading in down there in Texas. So yeah. So anyway, but I think, the fitness monitors are a great way, and they don't have to be expensive. Even so, ways up through here, we talked about pedometers versus a fitness tracker. Pedometers work fine. You can get pedometers usually from a lot of what are they called? Like health clinics. A lot of like if you go to a healthy, whatever seminar, like around here, Humana puts on a lot of seminars, or there'll be like a heart healthy seminar or a diabetes clinic or something like that. If you go to anything like that, a lot of times you can get a pedometer for free or for next to nothing. Some doctor's offices give them out, and I know some employers will give out pedometers, or some of the less expensive activity monitors to encourage their employees to get in some exercise. Yeah, and I can see the Texas girls are saying that they got in some extra steps pacing back and forth from their windows to look and to make sure water wasn't coming up. I'm so sorry, and I'm glad y'all are on the back side of that. But anyway, so they don't have to be expensive. And some of the least expensive ones, like pedometers, or some of the least expensive activity monitors can be as low as like $5. And $5, and it'll keep track. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. A regular pedometer, what it does, it has this little tumbler thing inside of it. So every time you step, the little tumbler makes a click, 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 and that's how it keeps up with how many steps you do. And so back when my mom was still able to, she actually had she had hooked her pedometer to like a little piece of, it was like that athletic tape, that the little stretchy tape that you wrap around, like if you have to wrap up your arm or an elbow or a wrist or something. She had a piece of that she would put around her leg, and she would clip her pedometer to that. And she, bless her heart, her step goal for the day was 1,000 steps. But she was almost, she's almost 80 years old, and 1,000 steps for her, was, that was really good. So she would, try for the 1,000 steps. If you get up into some of the more intricate fitness monitors, you can get some that clip on. You can get, obviously the ones I know, and Dusty's just like, bleh, because we've made him walk like 3 times today. Since Karen isn't here, yeah, Ace Bandage, Cheryl, exactly, Ace Bandage. But since Karen wasn't here, I've made Dusty walk like 3 times today. So he's had to be my unwilling, he was willing on the walking part, but now you can see he's like almost passed out. But I have a Fitbit Alta. I got it at Costco. I know my accountability buddy Karen, they have, I think it's every year, she works at a bank, and every year they have some kind of a fitness program thing, and they can earn one, like they can get a free one, or they can upgrade to one. So check your place of employment, check your health plan, check your health insurance. A lot of health insurance companies will offer that too. But anyway, so if it'll track, that's even better. You can always look up fit points for anything you're doing. I keep talking a lot about walking, but anything else you do, raking leaves, mowing the yard, swimming, let's see. Oh yeah, Casey's talking about a trip her church was going to make to Texas. Yeah, I think it's going to be an awesome one. Oh, and I'd like to get a hold of, actually I'm just going to sidetrack for a second, but can one of you Houston ladies, can you all have somebody that's in charge of Weight Watchers down there in Houston? Is there a way for y'all to have them contact me so they can go on? I have a question. And it's not, and I know they've got a lot of other things to think about besides contacting me, but I do have a question if y'all can put me in touch with one of them. I didn't know if there was like we have a franchise owner here in Knoxville, and I didn't know if that's how it worked in Houston, but they can, if they just want to go, they can either go to the blog and contact me through that, or my email address is ifyouhaveanegg@gmail.com. But I'd like to talk to one of the, like if there's a franchise owner or one of the leaders in Houston, I've just got a couple of questions. But again, I know they're busy. I know they're busy with hurricane stuff, so don't bug them for that, but I would like to talk to them. Okay, so anyway, so the fitness monitors, so they can keep you motivated. Again, you can see how you compare with other people. You can track things like, like Lynn says, grocery shopping. So if I'm at Costco or if I'm somewhere where I'm going to be walking a lot, but I'm going to be pushing a buggy, don't remember they're called buggies here. Yeah, but if I'm going to be pushing a buggy, sometimes I will strap it to my shoestring, like the strings on my shoes, or I'll clip it somewhere else so that it's still getting the motion, because that irritates me to not get, all my steps in if I've got my hands on the buggy. I have been known to lap Target an extra time or 2 or 3 or 4 because I was getting super close to whatever my goal, to whatever my goal was for the day, and my wrist had not buzzed yet, and so I just keep walking, and people were thinking, what is she doing? Why does she go check out, lady? But just keep going, until my wrist, buzzes. I do that here at the loft. If I'm getting pretty close, I'll check and see, okay, how many steps do I have left? And if I take the dog out to potty or whatever, then I make him wander all around and across the bridge and back and whatever, trying to get in, my steps. But that way you can, have a little healthy competition with other people. Some of them, okay, y'all are making fun of my buggies. They're buggies. But they can, you can check in with your other people, that you're having a healthy competition with and see how they're doing. But I think it's, great. And if you use eTools or if you're on Weight Watchers Online, you can use that to automatically sync your fit points from your activity monitor. And if you don't know how to do that, you just type it in here and we'll answer that question in a few minutes, how to get it to automatically sync. But don't forget to track other things like we were talking about a second ago, mowing the yard, raking leaves, dancing. Dancing was a great one. Some of those things that you're doing, other activity, it doesn't have to be yoga or Pilates or what John keeps watching. What is that called? PiYo? He keeps watching when he's out on the road. They work really weird hours, and there's never any real, even though they have cable out on the road, there's never any real, TV on in the middle of the night. So he's been watching PiYo, and he ends up watching all these infomercials. So yeah, he's been watching that one. But anyway, remember all those other activities, look them up, figure out what your intensity level is, record them, keep track of them. I think you're going to be surprised how many fit points you're getting that you didn't know that you were getting. Okay, so a couple of things because we're winding down now. One is on Weight Watchers Connect this week, they want you to show how you've a way that you've figured out how to move and love it. Move it, love it is what they're calling it. So if you're, as you're figuring these things out, like the dancing, I thought the dancing was a great idea. I think playing with kids or grandkids out in the yard is a great idea. Rake some leaves. Well, no, we're not quite to that time yet, but we'll be getting there soon. Rake some leaves, let the kids play in them, and then rake them again. That would be a way to move it and love it. But Weight Watchers Connect has asked us to not us, remember, I don't work for Weight Watchers. They've asked everybody, when you find a way to move it and love it, to hashtag that. So it's just hashtag move it, love it. Hashtag MOVEIT, LOVEIT. And that way we can all see, what you came up with, some great ideas for moving and loving it. Last thing, remember our book that we were talking about. So this is the book that we went over last week. So what are some things that you could do to get moving? And I thought this was a really good way to kind of wrap your head around it. So first, what do you want to do? So, the example was, I will go for a walk. Okay. So that's what you're going to do. You want to go for a walk. So what do you want to do? Just write down what you want to do. You don't have to have the book. You can write it down on a piece of paper or whatever. Then you've got to say, when are you going to do it? So you can't just say, I will go for a walk. I will go for a walk when? Okay, I will go for a walk on, for me, it's Monday and Thursday at 6 o'clock, and on Sundays at 4 o'clock. Where will you do it? It's very important that you know when and where you're going to do it, because you can't fulfill your plan if you don't make a plan. So what do you want to do? When are you going to do it? Where are you going to do it? So for me, I'm going to walk. I'm going to walk Mondays and Thursdays. I'm going to walk at 6, and Sundays I'm going to walk at 4. Where am I going to do it? Mondays and Thursdays I'm going to walk with Karen in the old neighborhood. And on Sundays we're going to walk downtown. And then who are you going to do? Who will do it with you? For me, it's Karen. So I want everybody to make a commitment this week, because I'm going to ask you all next week, what did you want to do? When did you do it? Because remember, this is going to be past tense then. What did you decide to do? When did you decide to do it? Where did you do it? And if you had somebody to do it with, like if they're physically there with you, who did you do that? Who did you do it with? If they weren't physically there with you, did you call somebody? Did you talk to them on the phone while you were doing it? And whoever said that a few minutes ago about doing something while you were watching this, we actually have, to my knowledge, there's only one, but we have one member who watches this on Sunday nights, and she does this while she's walking on the treadmill. So she spends her hour on the treadmill watching this. So the hour goes by fast. She forgets that she's walking on the treadmill. She gets lots of other ideas, and it's like she's here with us. So who are you going to do this with? Doesn't have to be somebody physically, although it would be nice. It doesn't have to be somebody that's physically there with you. You can talk on the phone with them. You can FaceTime with them. If you're walking though, if you're walking in a public area, please be careful if you're FaceTiming with them. I don't want to get any phone calls that you all have stepped out into traffic, but doing something, with this. So if you're doing the, like if you're walking while you're doing this, if you were doing the squats while you were doing this or whatever, we would be who you would be doing this with. So I want to know, give me some thumbs ups. Who commits this week if they're going to do this? So who's going to tell me? And actually, y'all can start typing them tonight. You can start typing them tonight as soon as we get off of here. But I want to see some thumbs ups or hearts, either one. Who's going to tell us one thing that you're going to do to get moving? So remember, you've got to move it if you want to lose it. So you need to know. What we need to know is, what are you going to do? What do you want to do? When are you going to do it? Where are you going to do it? And who are you going to do it with? And even if the who is all of us. So we're getting ready to get off of here. I want y'all to go ahead and top those. Up so that we can see them later this week. And then next week, I want to know what you did. So don't forget. Okay. As usual, let me get he is like sacked out. So I have woken up the beast. Look at his hair. He is like, he is so sleepy. Can you all see his eyes in there? They are such sleepy, sleepy eyes. Such sleepy eyes. And good, y'all are already putting on your suggestions of what you're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to get this boy in the bed, and we're going to get ready. I'm going to type up some transcripts. I'll try to get them finished tonight. Okay, real quick though, how was this new format? Did y'all even notice that there was a new format? Was it okay with everybody? So did everybody like tonight's chat? Thumbs ups or hearts if you liked tonight's chat. If you did not like the new format, then do something that won't make Sally mad. But did you all even notice that we had a new format tonight? So I doubt it. Anyway, okay, it is 9 o'clock. I'm going to let you all go, and y'all have an awesome week. Remember to thank somebody tomorrow. It is Labor Day, and be safe, and y'all be careful out there. I know I just said be safe, but y'all be careful out there, and I'll see you next week, and I'll be asking you, what did you do? What did you do to move it, to lose it? See you next week. Bye.